For my first 10 years at Imagineering, I spent in the model shop, and then I was the first female manager, and then I was promoted to director, vice president, and I retired as a senior vice president. So I was the first woman in all those positions at Imagineering, yeah. That's a brief history. I first started in 1968. I was what was called a summer hire. When I walked in the model shop, our desks were 4x8 sheets of plywood on top of 2 sawhorses, and then that plywood was covered with brown paper. And I sat across from Leota Toombs. Leota is the very famous face in the Haunted Mansion, so she was the first person that I worked with, and my first assignment was to feather a tiki bird. You're asking for my work history. I need to back up a little bit because I'm also the daughter of Dick Irvine, who started working with Walt in the very, very beginning. Growing up in our family was like being an Army brat. You were a Disney brat. You know, Walt would call, I say, Daddy, Walt's on the phone. Walt picked him to do Disneyland, to oversee the hiring of the talent, to ensure that the design from concept was that design integrity of that story was going to be maintained through the whole developmental process. Walt relied on him heavily to do that. This is Marvin Davis, John Hinch, and my dad, and this is the X marks the spot for the center of the Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. When I first started working on Walt Disney World, my father and I had about an hour's drive, and it was always special time for me again. So we would talk to and from driving about whatever was hot at the time. I remember he was having terrible difficulties with the cost of the castle. So he came into the model shop and he was studying the castle with whoever was designing it at the time, and they were studying it. And Daddy went over to the mall and just tore off a turret off the castle, and he said, that ought to take care of it. And that's how he cut the cost. So that was a fun story. This is the send-off when we were building our scenery in the North Hollywood facility. This was the first group of scenery that we shipped from that facility to its location in Walt Disney World. This is was the transportation pavilion. And Ward Kimball is over here. He was the art director for it. And this is a bottle of champagne, although it really wasn't. It was sparkling water that I threw, and it did not break open. So Ward had to help me send off the first truckload of scenery. So we always had fun. Being the fifth sibling of 10 children, it was always fun to kind of set a path as to whether we'd be part of Disney or not. My vision is to keep it fresh. Know who your audience is, really understand your audience, because it's so diverse in Walt Disney World. And you're dealing with so many generations. And keep with the storytelling. The storytelling is what we do best. Keep it fresh, keep it interesting, keep it fun, and enjoy it.